So today I listened to MTG Goldfish's podcast from Monday. I don't know when they put it out. Thursday, Friday. I listened to them on Monday. But today's like Thursday. Anyways, none of that makes sense. But I heard it today, and Flesh and Blood came up in their mail segment, and they asked if they've checked them out, or if they were thinking that maybe they would do a Goldfish approach to the pricing. You know how they do Magic cards, where you can look up the price across many sites on Goldfish. Mm-hmm. They wanted to know if they were thinking about doing that. And they started talking about it, and if they checked it out, and nobody's checked it out. And then the first thing that came up, and I feel like this happens all the time, and it's a lie now. Not a lie, but it's very false compared to what it used to be, and it used to come up all the time. But the first thing they started talking about was how expensive cards were, and how there's a $24,000 card, and like instantly, all three of them are like, yeah, no, blah 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 blah, and then it's like, okay, so you're not giving it a shot at all, and then they they didn't backtrack. What's his name? Krim talked about. He's like, I wait for games to get 6 sets in before I even give them a chance because I don't want to invest in things that are short. But they're like, it's really weird that they have a Black Lotus type card this early in the game. And they were like, blah 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 blah. But they never mentioned that the game's cheap to play. In general, after it's all said and done, it's a million times cheaper than anything. Especially, so my question to you is: do you think that because the first thing they do when people bring up Flesh's Blood is they see these cards that go for 1,000 or more, is it an automatic turnoff to a lot of people? And do you think? Now, this is me being clickbaity, but do you think that Magic content creators are bringing up the negative pieces just because they might see it as something that might change what they're doing?
I mean, that could be part of the approach, but I kind of feel the opposite. And usually, when somebody talks to me about it, I would tell them the opposite. Like a lot of people love the idea of going back to the days where you were pulling a lottery ticket out of the packs.
Right, I love it.
I
actual value cards,
having a mega value card. But the big thing about the game that people overlook when they're talking about that is, at this point, building one of these fab decks is like building a budget commander deck. I mean, you have a commander, which is your one of legendary artifacts.
And that's what I love, is that it's a one of, so you have to buy it once.
Now this deck has 2, so I have 2 commanders in my deck, I guess, in this case. But so I got two $100 plus cards here. Just because of short
commanders
printing,
aren't
they'll
$100
go
plus
up.
dollars. I don't like your.
Some of the big ones are.
Not really. Who's $100? What commander?
Anything from Legends.
Okay, sure. Sure, that's all right. The 19-year-old set.
Okay, plus pretty much anything that's more than 5 years old in foil that hasn't been reprinted.
Yeah, it's worth a little bit. It's not $100.
But I mean,
because it only needs
most of your L's. Most of your L's are now that for stuff that hasn't just recently came out, that's only one print in. Most of your L's are $70-$80 now.
But that's unlimited, which they don't bring up at all. And that's my point. Is they never talked about the affordable part of it. All they did was they said, you need these cards. They're $1,000+ dollars.
But you don't need them.
Right. Look, let me finish the point. Is that they didn't come back and say, well, there's an unlimited printing where you can get these L's for 10% of what their cold foil would be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's 10% cheaper than that. And then on top of that, minus E-Strike and Command and Conquer. Those are the 2 barriers to entry. And then once you own 3 of each of them, you have them for every deck you want to play. Same thing with the generic equipment. Yeah, they might be $200-$300 even in unlimited, but once you have Arknight Skullcap, you have the Arknight Skullcap. It runs in every single deck. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You as a single person, I know you and Angie split, and sometimes you need extra cards. But you as a single person need 1 copy of that. That's cheaper than having to buy 4 renting sixes right now.
Oh
Why,
yeah.
why is that not a turn off to them? Why don't you know what I'm saying? Like they immediately
Well, that's
attack the
because
cost of the
Six is
game.
$100.
Well, I know.
And they're looking at the most expensive, most
right.
collectible version of every card
Exactly.
and basing their view of the game on that.
Exactly. But I
But
think that
also
happens
they're
all
also
the time.
sweating. I think as Magic content producers, where they've chose one game and they've chosen a singular path to follow down,
True.
anything that threatens that game's is gonna start getting some neg out of the Magic community.
Right. And then my point on top of that is like it finally got to the point where MTVG Goldfish brought up Flesh and Blood like on their thing. So it got that big. It also got big enough that two of the biggest Magic carriers are carrying it. Now I know it's like hop on the train, there's money. I get it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, these people have been strictly that. Then with Magic pulling off competitive and them barreling down in it, it makes nothing but sense that they do it. But like it hit their radar to the point they had to talk about it on a episode of their MTG cast. But they approached it so negatively instead of being like, you know what, maybe I will check it out because it's finally getting to the point where that's what I'm hearing about. Channel Fireball's covering, they're running the events plus carry it.
After
Star City Games just picked it up
after
a little while ago.
Let's remind everybody, Channel Fireball picked up the major circuit of this game after choosing to not do the Magic.
The Magic one, yeah.
They backed out
pulled
before Magic stopped doing it because it wasn't profitable. It wasn't a game that they felt like was working into the area that they needed it to be for that to be a thing anymore.
They decimated it. They're decimating value, and like, you know, the secondary market. I don't want to get way off subject, but the secondary market matters way more than I think they gave it credit for. Like no matter what, and like and the fact that they're backing off of competitive, which showed people the cards that should be worth. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
There's like I said, that was my carrot. There's no more carrot. So like, that carrot mattered more to me. And I've never been in a pro tour. I've never done anything good, like great in Magic. But that carrot mattered a ton to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just
being able to go to the Grand Prix and being able to compete on that level. Right. And have a chance to win something back
right.
of the thousands of dollars you invested
and good
in this
stuff.
game.
But anyways,
and
I don't want to.
Cool
I don't want to do that. But anyways, I just wondered why it just sounded so negative when it was like they were just like, I have basically no interest to check this out. I liked what Krim was saying. He's like, I wait until 6 or 7 sets to make sure it's established before I'm going to put my money into it. But then again, he was like, because like look at the prices of these cards, and it's like, but it's not like that. So, some of them are sub $100, and you have to buy one of them. One, and then like I said, there's Command and Conquer, E-Strike, and Art of War that are a little expensive, but they're just like good cards in Magic. Like 100's a little pushing it. Like I know people don't like $100 cards, but like E-Strike's $40. That's a good Magic card. Why is that too expensive? You know what I mean?
We've seen standard cards hit $125 in the past 5 years.
Yeah, dude, I bought Bonfires of the Dam for $60 a pop. You know what I mean? That was only good in standard. And you know what I mean? Like I remember spending money on all kinds of stuff, and they're the market people, and I know they talk about things being expensive in the game, and that is their stance, that there's like a happy medium for everything. Like, you know what I mean? All land should be $20 and stuff like that. And like, I don't agree with that. I like having cards that are worth money. And then a final little point is just the point that these chase cards, first, it's a chase printing of it, because again, you're going to get something 10% less. But the other thing is none of them are a necessary card, really. You know what I mean? Like, no. Eclipse is very good, but you can build a deck without Eclipse. Library is very good. You can build a deck without Library. The only one that I think is
Eclipse is an owl. It's not even.
No, I know, but it's cold foil.
Oh,
is my point. They're expensive. Yeah. They're, you know what I'm saying. I'm just saying that like the cold foil printing, that's like $300, $250 when you can get it for $60. You know what I'm saying? But if you look at it, and the first thing you see, if you hop on TCG, and this is the problem, you go on TCG and it averages all the prices. The average of like this card, even though you're looking for the rainbow foil, is $1,400. And it's like, it's not even close to that. But if you do it at the quick glance, the game looks unapproachable. And then they did no extra digging to like give it any light, which they don't need to do. They're a Magic podcast, which I understand. But like, I feel like that podcast right there probably turned a bunch of people that maybe were thinking about it off of it. And if they decide not to look any further, I think they lost a few Flesh and Blood players for no reason until it gets bigger and bigger. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But like, it's done nothing but grown. It, like I said, it got mentioned there. It's getting picked up by all these people. It's got a very good growth. The game's super balanced. It's great. We don't need to do that, but that's what I wanted to talk about.
Yeah, I think we're both on the same side with this one. I think that, like, most of the uber expensive cards aren't even necessary for the decks.
Right.
They're just collector pieces, and yes, they do add a little bit, but they're not powerful enough to be game changing. I don't feel like. I'm sure there's a game or two where pitching that heart one time gets you that one life.
And you win, of course, but that's not.
But that's the same thing as running a blue.
Daddy, can you untangle me?
Go ahead.
It's like the same thing as running.
Thank you.
I mean, you're gonna gain the same amount of life if you're running a blue thing. The Soul of Solace. What are you doing, bud?
Nothing.
Invading?
I'm invading.
Come on.
No. No. I never like that leave.
But yeah, anyways. Pretty much.
Yeah. I feel like we both fall on the same side with that argument for sure.
Well, like I said, it's not so much an argument. I just wonder why.
I just think that
there's like, I feel like all Magic players that haven't given it a shot yet all have not the same, because they have a million reasons why they hate the game, but
yeah,
that's like always the point that's brought up. Like,
never
there's these super expensive cards, and it's like, but you can also go buy a box for $60 right now and get a free box. Go look at Channel Fireball right now. It's like, buy a box for $79. We'll give you another box and a playmat. But you can't beat that.
No,
it's so cheap to get into the game.
I think
they'll go drop $450 Magic boxes.
Yeah.
And like, we won't
go spend $600 on a case of Magic and then sell it for $400.
Right.
And be super pumped.
Right. Super pumped. But anyways, that was it. You got any other final thoughts on it?
I think the toxic, narrow-minded Magic players that won't give it a chance because it's not Magic are the kind of players we don't want in anyway.
Agreed.
So I think a lot of the players in the Fab community so far now, this weekend will be the first competitive level tournament that I've ever played in, mind you, but so far the community seems to be very welcoming, very kind, very understanding of each other.
This is actually not a competitive level event.
Did you know that?
No, it is a casual ran event, which is wild to me, considering it has nationals invites.
So one of the promos was a extended art tunic. What was the other one again?
I don't know.
There's a bunch of them. Tunic is gorgeous.
Top 32.
I'll get a promo ode to Wrath, which is very
cool.
nice looking. Nice. It's a gold cold foiling,
yes,
so
it looks dope.
There's a lot of gold on it, and it looks